Getting like a reverb in there or something, or hearing an echo.
Yeah, I was too. I was going through all my tabs real quick to see if it's me or not.
What's up, anybody that's here? Happy Friday. Welcome to Driver Nation. I can't do the intro quite as Tom can, but Tom is either dead right now or severely frozen. I don't know. At least he looks happy.
Right. He went out gracefully, is what we're saying.
It's like Weekend at Bernie's, man. Like, that's our friend Tom. Guys, Tom is on his way back to the house, and he will be clicking the radio on. He was running a little late or behind and stuck in some traffic. I don't know the full details, but we are all here, and Tom is alive. He will be coming back to us here shortly. Hope. But Gary and I are here. Gary, what's up?
Nothing. I was contemplating taking a nap, and then I was like, I better not because I might oversleep.
And let's see. We got Josh, we got Holly, and Form is Content. Not sure. Form is Content. What market are you in? Just curious as we're getting started here. I've never seen that handle.
Which did I know you didn't follow the gig wars this week, but Josh was going against Red, right? And he was like $130 ahead. He decided to take yesterday off, and he lost the gig war.
Ooh, we just lost. Like we lost Tom.
Yeah, he'll come
there
back. There's Tom. Well, there was Tom.
I'm here.
All right.
Welcome back, Tom.
Yeah. Gotta love technology. 5G.
Yeah. He is really there. I know it's just his right shoulder, but when he gets to wherever he's going, maybe we'll see him.
Let him focus on driving.
Yeah.
We
no
want
doubt.
him to be safe. Jeez.
Focus on the driving.
You got him over there messing with his phone.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Tom.
All right, good. All right, second traffic. We'll get there.
Stuck in that Houston traffic, huh?
Betcha.
So, okay. Well, let's see. Tom's going sideways.
The only way I can see.
Everybody just rotate your phones if you want to see Tom.
Yeah. You should just put it out the window so we can see the drive.
All right.
Let's see. I actually do have some things, but I was totally thrown off by Tom not doing the intro.
Yeah. So what Steve is saying, everybody, welcome to Friday Night Driver Nation. Yeah, eventually we will get to the TNCradio.live as well. But right now we're just on YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah. Tom, how far out are you from home?
8 minutes.
Okay, so yeah. And what's up, Sassy? What's up, Rick? Yeah. So I tried to pick some things we didn't talk about last night. I sent them to you guys, but I'm trying to be aware of that because I feel like a lot of times, Gary, you and I come into Friday and we're talking, and we do sometimes talk about other aspects of a good story that we didn't get to all the details, but I feel like I'm trying to make it so we don't overlap. And I think one of them does overlap, but it just needed to be mentioned. Oh, the first thing, I guess, while we're waiting for Tom to get there, let's at least just announce this again because you guys, tomorrow's the last day. So if any gig workers worked in the DC area between 2016 and 2018 and happened to work even one shop for Instacart, you are owed between at minimum $150 to $3,500 is what the payouts are. And all you had to do was be on the shop and delivers for Instacart in the DC area during those years. Even if you weren't, and you have any kind of public forum or other gig workers you know, or people that you know who were there, make sure you tell them, because tomorrow is the deadline to get to sign and say that you want to get your money. Again, it's not you're not getting involved in a class action lawsuit. It's already done, and the money's allocated to those people. But if you don't get it in by oddly tomorrow, it's really annoying. You're not going to get a piece of it. So the link to that is in today's post on the website. Yep. Ridesharerodeo.com. I believe it's in today's, and I think it's in two. It's either in today's or yesterday's. Actually, probably yesterday's, huh? Let me just make sure, guys. While we're waiting on Tom.
Steve is super prepared tonight for this.
I am. I just want to. Since we're waiting on Tom, I'm gonna make sure, because
it's in the one from yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, so March 23rd article on ridesharerodeo.com.
Number 4. Article number 4.
Yep, it's in there, and it's just a short 2-minute video. It tells you what you need to do. But please, guys, get the word out to other gig workers who might even know other gig. There's out of the whatever they're going to do, 3,500 people that are owed the money. As of yesterday, 50 have money coming to them. That's it.
Read the comments to you.
Josh, you think I'm gonna take that crap from you? Just ban you, dude. I used to give out wrenches till Gary said to stop, so now I'm gonna start just banning somebody randomly every show.
Did you give them out to everybody? I couldn't like delete comments or whatever.
Yeah, they do need to. That is weird, man. They should have a level
that there is now. Well, I believe it. Because
I still don't know that it does it though.
Well, no, because on Gig Wars official channel, I can actually put other moderators in timeout.
Okay. It's like, yeah, I've seen that. Maybe I need to just go in and take yours and then give it back.
Yeah, you gotta give me like super admin or something like that.
I saw that you could do that.
Yeah, I need to be like super admin. Because even when you're not here, like the weeks you miss, I can't do anything to anybody in the chat. Everybody got a wrench.
Yeah. I mean,
I need some power, Steve, is what I'm saying.
See, I wonder, remember when Kim took all those wrenches away and kind of started over? Like that was something I was like considering, but I like people having wrenches, so I like that feature if it really works. If it really allows you to have that power to go, wait a minute, this guy's a wrench, but he needs a timeout.
Well, because some of the comments, like let's face it, as much as we love everybody in our chats, some of the comments are uncalled for.
Right.
You get a couple people bickering back and forth, and it's like, hey, that's enough. You're running the chat for everybody else.
Yeah. I do feel like that happens pretty minimally with us. Oh yeah. It actually, like you said, what's up, Tony? Exactly. What's up, Tony? It's usually Tony and Bud Soda in here if anything goes down.
I don't know. See, we need to be able to mute both of them. And I mean, I think I can actually do it on the StreamYard side. I can do it. I can put them in timeout for I don't know how long it is, but I can't delete comments or anything like that.
Hold on a second. Let me fix this. There we go.
Sorry.
That was like Bot Soda's dad.
Tom, we have phone holders for a reason in our cars.
Plus, do you see this? He's chasing like a blue.
I know it's like he's drag racing somebody. Like what they do on the movies, they show the speeds.
Yeah, it's like Tron though. It's like, I don't know. Look at Tony's all upset. What did I do? Yeah,
It's you and Bud
you know,
Sodas when y'all get political.
it's like once or twice, Tony, and it's nothing bad. It's just maybe between you and Bud Soda, you guys got not. I shouldn't even say a little, way too political.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be my only thing, and it's happened once or twice, and it's nothing I mentioned to you because it's not a big deal.
Who else was waiting for Tom to run that stop sign? Like, nah.
Well, he's chasing the blue thing, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
get it, Tom. Get it. Got it, dude. You got him. You got him.
Almost so close.
It's like autonomous, like invisible delivery car. Get him, Tom. Kill him. Look at Tom. Wow, Tony's getting like upset. I only did that one time.
He's gonna drive over to your house and kick your.
You know what? I'm gonna let's spend this episode proving him wrong. Let's pull up some old episodes. Look at the chat.
Look at the chat. See what happened.
$5 if Tom can chase him down. Well, Tom's in a garage. And I didn't even instigate it. Okay, this right here tells me that you know you did more. I'm just saying. I mean, you're good. You're one of my good friends too, Tony. So I'm just saying.
You're not supposed to admit to it, Tony. Like, no, that wasn't me. What are you talking about?
Except for a little bit that one time. Like that tells me, like, no, dude, that means you did them pretty much all of them. So you guys, I'm just hanging in here, kind of. What's up, Daniel? Let's get political, Tony. Daniel is from Michigan, but he lives in Ohio, and where he lives, Gary, he can tee a golf ball and hit Michigan. Daniel, am I right in that? For some reason, I believe you told me you were about a good fairway away from Michigan.
You know, I'm looking at the notes you sent me for today. That doesn't look like 2 hours worth of notes.
Well, some of it I didn't want to send you because I didn't want to scare you off. Like there's Massachusetts playbook, gig worker fight revs up. Illinois mandates time off for employees in 2024, and recent employment law in the District of Columbia.
Yeah, you didn't want me calling in.
I didn't put them in because they're the last three, and only if we need to get to them. So I was like, you don't need to see those.
Gary will call in sick.
Right. And that was the other thing. After you were calling all of them last night, there was a part of me that just wanted to put in all these random fake stories. And just be like, oh no, I don't have my copy.
Steve's mad I segue better than he does.
Well, last night we got it right at the same time. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
There's one story though. I'm curious to get one story we're going to talk about that's in Colorado. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it once we get there.
Yeah, well, there's two Colorado ones, but I'm pretty sure I'm guessing it's the new Uber Lyft.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's something that's Stephanie. For those going, what the hell are they talking about? Stephanie Vigil. It looks like Vigil. I interviewed her before the vote. She was running for her House seat here in Colorado, and she won. And then I interviewed her again after, and this was mentioned by her. This actually one of the first articles where some of the things here in Colorado she was talking about doesn't mention her at all, because usually she's pretty plastered all over all the articles right now.
She's plastered?
Yeah.
As in she just drinks too much? That's sad.
Yeah.
More from somebody.
That's
but now the Tom's here. Let's stop talking about his wife.
That's the funny thing. The funny thing is my wife has never had a drink. So
Ever?
Nope.
Not even a champagne toast at New Year's with you?
Tom makes up for it.
Yeah, I drink for both of us. Hi, guys. Sorry I'm late. Good old Houston. What can you say? Sometimes that's just the way the ball bounces. So, Steve, well, first of all, on the radio side, sorry we've been late. Sorry for the dead air there, but we're back. TNCradio.live on a Friday night, Driver Nation. I'm here with Steve and with Gary. We're also simulcasting on YouTube, so you can see our smiling faces there. Steve, you were out last week doing avalanche stuff, which, by the way, big props to you. We were all throwing you the props last week. We were pretty impressed by all that. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing, and really, you're out there to save lives. So tell us what you're doing there.
So I made a decision about, I've been doing I skied for a few years. I've been snowboarding forever. It's like my 32nd season, and I know my way around really well. I know how to do the backcountry. I know how to navigate. I'm comfortable hiking in the backcountry in the summer. I get it all through the year. I understand the mountains. I get the weather. I know what you're supposed to do and proper techniques, and I enjoy doing it. So search and rescue is something that it is very short staffed here in Colorado. We definitely do not have enough. And I mean, really, most states don't have enough search and rescue people. That's something that not a lot of people really want to go down that road full time. But I'm doing it more kind of in phases. So now I am search and rescue certified. Go work search and rescue now. And I have Avalanche 1 and 2, which is huge. That would allow me to be anywhere I want to. I'm not looking for a W-2 though. So what I'm thinking about doing is if you take the search and rescue 1 and 2, you can then take paramedic, but you take a fourth of the paramedic class. It's like a quick class, like an overview, and it's 80 hours at the community college. It's free if you've taken Avalanche 1 and 2. So I'm looking at doing that this summer and then volunteering in a local in like the foothills in one of the foothills search and rescues, because volunteering, so when there's a big scenario, right? Like for the foothills, a perfect example would have been, even though I'm not fireman trained, they used a lot of search and rescue, even volunteers, when Louisville burnt in the middle of winter last year outside of Boulder. If you guys remember that, like that whole city burnt.
Yeah, I remember.
So, I mean, like there's a lot of there's a lot of foothills stuff too, and lost hikers and things like this. And that's kind of the stuff that really we're going to be doing. But this one was a lot more intense than Avalanche 1. It was a lot more hiking. It was being near the grenades when they were being, we absolutely got dumped on too. So they were using grenades off the choppers to create avalanches before we were even going through it. So it was it was an intense situation. It was awesome learning. And the next step is I'll be volunteering and probably doing some paramedic stuff this summer.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like, so look, I mean, like in the end, at some point, my whole, like once years after, once Max is out of school, once Marissa's kids out of school, or the plan is eventually, even if it's just in the foothills, to move into the mountains. It's always kind of been. I've lived up in Evergreen twice, and then I've lived in Summit County once. So I've kind of lived in the foothills twice and in the mountains once, and that's where I want to be. But I think you kind of have to wait till a little later in life before you make that move. And then once I make that move, search and rescue is a great thing to do. So. I guess volunteering now is what my next step.
Cool.
But I did get certified. I could go get a job doing it today, and they need people today. So
very cool. We have in the entire state of Texas, I believe nobody is avalanche qualified. So
I'll bet there is.
Yeah, because
I'll bet there's somebody who took the class though, man.
Somebody who did and then moved to Texas and went, why did I bother to move to Texas? We don't have mountains in Texas.
Or they got I mean, you'd be surprised. Like everybody goes. The thing about this AIR system, the search and rescue avalanche portion of the training is called AIR, It's spelled AIRE. And you can only take it at Estes Park in Colorado and Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and that includes Alaska. So if you're needing to get avalanche certified in Alaska, you have to go to Jackson Hole or to Colorado. It's the only two places that will serve. Even Canada, which we had two in our group. The groups are small, so we ended up having 3 instructors, 11 people, because they can only have 4 people per instructor. So, but yeah, we spent the night on a mountain. One of the nights, didn't do that in Avalanche 1. That was brutal, and then had to get up the next day and start searching again. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, we applaud you. Like I said last week, we were all talking about you, so your ears may have been warm because we were we were complimenting you. So we don't do that very often. We try not to make a habit of it, and we'll try not to do it too much. But for this time, kudos and congratulations, and thank you for taking this on, Steve, because we just need more people like you who are out there doing that kind of stuff. There you go.
Yep.
All right, so we complimented him enough for the whole year, right?
Yeah, no, we're done for the year.
I am cutting that up into all 10-second videos, 100 of them.
2023, that's what it's for. So I hope you enjoyed it, Steve. I hope those of you who are on the radio side enjoyed 10 minutes of silence before we came back on the air, but we're back on. But it's break time, so we're going to take a break on the radio side. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there. All right.
Josh is. Now we can roast him.
Oh, yeah.
Every chance I get, Josh. Every chance.
Yep. Steve, have you done any EMT or paramedic training?
None yet. No. I mean, we touched on the most in Avalanche 1, not at all. And in Avalanche 2, in Avalanche 1, it was about 40% classroom, 60% field. This was about 10% classroom, but still a lot of hours. It's 5 hours. So I don't know. And 10% classroom, but 90% field. And yeah, we did cover some very basic things you should know. But the thing is that when you're working search and rescue, they're always going to have somebody you're always going to have somebody with that group that knows what they're doing, even farther than basic paramedic. Depending on the size of the search, you're always going to have that person. I just would like to also be that person. Well,
I mean it
just seems to make logical sense. They're going to pay me to take the classes for free. Done. Sweet.
Well, yeah. So that's how I worked my way through college.
What, driving an ambulance?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
There was fire department and ambulance, and
yeah. So that was my other choice, was fire, because of the wildfires out here in the summer. I could have also done that. You could do an 80-hour program about wildfires.
So when we come back, I'll tell you guys the story of of my parents in a wildfire.
Donna. Well,
So
Steve's so old, he's young again. Telling you, man, I got some friends around here in their 30s that look awful. Just look as unhealthy as you could be, possibly. Not a lot, but
Coming back in 20 seconds. 30 seconds. Where are we? Driver Nation. We're recording. The button is hot. Slide this up.
Everybody picking on Steve. Love it.
All right, guys, here we go. Coming back in 5 and 3, 2, 1. And welcome back in on a Friday night TNCradio.live. This is Driver Nation. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo and Gary from Gary's Apps. Happy to have you all with us. We are simulcasting on YouTube. So if you have an opportunity to check us out on YouTube, you're certainly welcome to do that. And guys, we were talking a little bit off air about fire departments and that kind of stuff. So I worked my way through college as a fireman. My parents actually came to visit me over the 4th of July. I lived on top of Lookout Mountain in Georgia, not the Lookout Mountain near you, Steve, but the other Lookout Mountain. And so I took them out for dinner. And as I left, I left another officer in charge and went off the mountain. And, you know, anytime you go off the mountain, you got to leave somebody else in charge and that kind of stuff. So we're sitting there having dinner and we're getting to the dessert part. And I noticed we got my radio on mute, but I noticed that the light for our channel is on and staying on most of the time. And so finally, my parents go back up to the buffet and I turn it up real quick to listen, see what's going on. Well, long story short, these kids had been setting off fireworks and it started a pretty significant fire over the side of a cliff. So I still can't believe I did this. I put my parents in the car, put the light on top, and drove up the mountain at incredible breakneck speed. Got to the fire. My dad has this incredible fear of heights. It's dark now. There's fire coming up. I mean, the fire is like 80 feet below, and there's pieces, it's licking up towards the top. And I look at my parents, and my crew's already down. And we're working on it. And I look at my parents, and I'm strapped in for a rappel. And I said, "I'll see you at the hotel later." And I jumped off the mountain with my mom screaming. It was so funny. Oh, yeah. So here we are now, some 40-something years later, and my mom still talks about that being one of the worst moments of her life.
Well, I mean, so they had to drive it down, I guess?
They took my car and went to the hotel. I caught up with them later.
Right, but after going up this mountain in the dark...
So
you're like, bye.
The hotel was at the top of the mountain, so they just went on to the top of the mountain, and I showed up about 3 or 4 hours later. Smelling the smoke. I'm dirty and everything, and they're sitting out on the deck and they're drinking wine, and it's like, "Hey, how are you guys?" I'm like, "Hello, you okay?" "We're fine. We're glad to see you're fine." It's like, "I told you this is what I do." So wow. I almost did that for a living, but it was just too. I don't know what kind of politics you have to deal with there, Steve, but it was very, very political.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with it either. I do know some people. Obviously, one of the things that got me another of the things that got me into it is I do know a couple people who do search and rescue, and it's the people I know who are in it are definitely very cool, down to earth people. So, they enjoy it out here. I don't know if it's different or whatnot, but the people I know who do it not only love to do it, but they enjoy it. And I'm sure there's government tape and all that, but seems like I think you're able to cut through it when you have a search and rescue in Colorado.
Yeah, we had a guy on our team who was I don't know, he protected from on high from somebody. He was horrible to work with. And one night we had a house fire. And as the officer, my number one job is to keep my people safe, right? That's my number one thing. And So you're constantly counting and knowing where everybody is and who's doing what, and all the. And I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Crap, I'm missing somebody, and I'm missing Nate. And Nate is stupid enough to like chase a cat back into the house while it's burning. The house is fully involved. We pulled back. We're saving the houses around. There's nothing we can do for this house. And Nate's gone. Can't find him. And so I'm on the radio. I'm getting more and more panicked. Does anybody see Nate? Did anybody see where Nate went? And 5, 10 minutes, which it was probably 5 or 10 minutes. To me, it seemed like 2 or 3 hours. Can't find Nate. Can't find. Finally, the pumper, who we call Tiny, 350 pounds of. Tiny calls and says, "Yeah, Officer Kelly, you need to come back to the truck." And I said, I can't find Nate. Yeah, come on back to the truck. And so I come back. Nate's decided it's 4:00 in the morning. He's tired. He crawled up in the hose bed and took a nap. So I tried to get Nate fired, and they're like, "No, we can't touch Nate. We can't touch him." And I'm like, somebody's going to get killed. I mean, Nate's an idiot. And they're like, "No, I'm sorry. Can't touch him." And at that point, I had my choice to either go into IT or go into fire stuff. And I decided, I think I'm just going to do the IT thing.
Did you at least think about poisoning Nate?
There were a lot of things I thought about doing to Nate. One day he pulled a BB gun, BB rifle on me, and so I smashed it to little bits. And yeah, Nate was what a guy.
I don't even know. Only Gary could segue into this, so I'm just gonna jump into this from that. But let's because Gary want to talk about this one. I want to talk about this one too. So, you guys, the Westward actually is a really it's a good fair paper around here. It's just a very short article, but it's Colorado gig drivers are ditching Uber and Lyft to form a new rideshare app. Really? So for years, Uber and Lyft have dominated the rideshare game, but recently drivers have noticed that the companies aren't as transparent as they should be, and they're doing something about it. So hold on here. As of recently, the drivers noticed that there's not transparency going on. That's weird because I've known for 10 years. So, I mean,
what?
I thought we were.
I know it's news to everybody, right?
I mean,
oh my gosh.
This came out. When was this? Yesterday or the day before? Okay, so this
24th.
Came out 2 days. Yeah, so they just found out yesterday.
No, it came out today.
Yeah, they just found out today that they might not be transparent. But now, rather than being up a wall, gig workers are taking control of their careers and futures by forming a drivers cooperative. And this is what Stephanie Vigil, who ran for House here in Colorado and won a House seat, and has some legislation that's out right now and Senate sponsored, keeps getting mentioned with this. And she mentioned it in the interview I did with her too. Forming a drivers cooperative, a new rideshare app owned and operated by Mile High motorists themselves. And then, quote unquote, drivers are desperate right now, says Min Sun Ji, and the executive director of the Rocky Mountain Employee Ownership Center, that's an actual link in this story too. So you can click that and you can learn. I was trying to learn about this place because it's weird, which is helping the drivers create the co-op. So, quote unquote, commission used to be up to 65%. Right now, it's as low as 25%. Workers are really fed up with the way Uber and Lyft are treating them. End quote. Now, for the very last paragraph of this, it says, in 2022, drivers formed Colorado Independent Drivers Union, or United, a union for rideshare, delivery, pedicab, taxi, and limousine drivers. Asking that rideshare companies take no more than 25% of the profits from each ride and delivery. So that's just a movement to say, like, Uber, Lyft, you have to only take 25%.
And you have to be transparent, is what it says too.
And you have to be transparent because I know that nobody's told you yet, but we would like that.
And you have to tell drivers why they're deactivated.
But here's my thing. So the name Rocky Mountain Employee Ownership Center really doesn't, I got to be honest, it really doesn't lead me to, like, if I didn't know what's going on and some of the language I've heard from Stephanie, and I'm not saying anything wrong about it or whatnot, just the language, I would think Rocky Mountain Employee Ownership Center is not union affiliated. I would immediately think that does not sound like a union affiliated thing. But
well,
I mean,
I don't know if you read the caption under that picture that they have. They don't plan on competing with Uber either. They just want to take Lyft market share. That's what it says.
Well, so here's my thing though too. Okay, so you're a co-op. I mean, first of all, I need a lot more information because where are the customers coming from? How are you going to populate customers? I mean, like the details of this being real, but I have heard about all this. I have heard about these groups specifically. This is what she was referring to.
Well, I think you actually stopped short on the article. The article is actually pretty long, Steve. If you keep scrolling past that little related stories part and keep going, it's very long. And I was actually reading it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
They're actually trying to get funding right now. I think they've raised like 250,000, but they need 113 or 118,000 for a bill that they need passed. And to join the drivers co-op, they're asking drivers to pay $100 buy-in and complete an orientation to be sure that they understand how the company works and the responsibilities of partner ownerships. Right. Unlike Uber and Lyft, the amount of profit the co-op takes in from each ride will be set to an 80-20 ratio, with the driver themselves taking the 80% and the other 20 going to the co-op to hire staff and pay operating costs. What they want to do is they want to get it up and running. They want to get the funding for it. Then they want to hire outsourced people to run it. And they want to create a board of drivers that get to hire all those people.
And they're already fully affiliated with the drivers co-op movement in New York City. In fact, they're the only one affiliated with them. And it says Denver will be the second city to launch such a model with the drivers co-op launching in New York City in 2021.
Right, which the New York City one, I believe that they've paid out $5 million. I think it said $5 million in date since 2021. And they actually raised $1.7 million before launching. Yeah. And this one right here, they're only up to like 200 and something thousand the last or something like that. But they're hoping to launch with a goal of 2,000 drivers when they launch in Colorado.
And they've already raised $250,000. Yeah.
Right, but if you read that $250,000 isn't what, if you keep reading down, they got 111,000, 250,000 for an annual application fee for TNC. Right. So really they don't even have the capital yet, because half of that has to go towards the application fee every year. and then they still need to hire, CEOs, CFOs, marketing people, all that good stuff. So I think they still got a long way to go before they're.
I wanted you and I to make like a dumpling for rideshare drivers, specifically for rideshare drivers, like where you have a profile. You're, like, sell yourself, have cards.
Well, I mean, you could even have them in an app. It's just the thing is all those drivers, they would have to register with the states, and they'd have to go get their own commercial insurance, because you would just be a pass-through service, just like Dumpling.
Right.
You would be truly what Uber and Lyft are supposed to be, which is connecting passengers to drivers. That's exactly what it would truly be.
All right. Tom, we taking a break, or do I got time for one more Denver story?
You got time for another.
All right, perfect. I'll tell this one then, because I find this one super interesting, by the way. So again, this is also today. A judge in Centennial. We're talking about Colorado here. Centennial is just this. It's South Metro Denver. For those that don't know, a judge in Centennial ordered DoorDash to hand over millions of documents to a Denver man who was seriously injured in a crash of one of its drivers. And this is the reason I'm interested in this story, because there is not a lot of precedence for any judge ordering delivery companies to get involved with non-passenger related stuff like this. But a demand that the delivery service calls draconian and estimates will cost $159 million and millions of employee hours. So now the state court is considering whether to overturn the judge's order. Withrup Elliott of 5 Points, that's downtown Denver, was riding his motorcycle at 9th and Ogden around 7 p.m. on August 27th, 2021. He was hit by a vehicle that had ignored a stop sign, he says. Elliott's left leg was crushed in the collision and had to be amputated just below the knee. 10 months later, in the summer of 2022, Elliott sued the driver, Hayalam Rita of Aurora, as well as DoorDash. He alleged that Rita was rushing due to DoorDash's delivery time requirements and distracted by the DoorDash delivery app. So Rita and DoorDash have admitted the collision occurred, but deny all wrongdoings. A 7-day jury trial is scheduled to begin June 12th in Arapahoe County. But first, the Colorado Supreme Court must decide what DoorDash secrets, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Where is it? Colorado Supreme Court must decide what DoorDash secrets Elliott can see. So on February 24th, Judge Elizabeth Volz told DoorDash to turn over all versions of its smartphone app from the past 3 years, which DoorDash calls its most sensitive software, plus copies of all complaints against DoorDash and its drivers in the past 3 years. This is what she's calling for. DoorDash said it can't comply. There have been 114 versions of its driver and customer apps in that time, and data from past apps has been lost in time. It says, plus the company makes 34 million deliveries a week in 27 countries, leading to an estimated 3.1 million complaints. So while DoorDash cannot precisely state the number of documents of pages that would have to be produced, the company with Voltz's order, attorneys for DoorDash wrote, DoorDash estimates it would span 159,120,000 pages. The cost would be 159 million.
It take approximately 13,290,000 employees hours to compile the information.
But so hold on. So on March 10th, DoorDash asked the Supreme Court to overturn. 4 days later, the High Court agreed to consider the case. So here they're still holding on, which is normally the point where they kick this, and they're saying, "Yeah, we might order this from you."
First, okay, as an app developer, I can tell you right now,
there's
no way
ain't gonna go through.
that ain't going to go through, because there's no way I'm keeping 114 different versions.
But and also you don't want to turn it over either. You don't want to. I mean, but here's the big thing of that too. You know what they proved in this conversation? That they are literally not able to do an audit.
It'd be.
I mean, they just admit their team admitted it in this article by things they said. No, they literally said we've lost data over the last 3 years.
Well,
you don't even have the last 3 years, and audit goes
data.
7.
Like they've lost apps data over time, not all their data. I mean, some stuff they can be audited on, but I mean, you're asking for them to produce if they went in and changed one line of code and that's all that it needed. They're asking them to produce a whole version of an app for that one line of code. That's not how coding works. like, we might have 114 versions, but 75 of those could be like one line changes. But
Right.
and now you're asking for a whole
I
app
know,
version.
dude. I find it incredibly interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, like, let's even roll back 2 years. Let's roll back 4, 3, however many years you want. Even California, other states, none of this would have even made it this far. They would have said, "Sorry, guys, you click that little box. We don't care about this stuff yet." Like, and here this is, like, they're really looking at this, like the Supreme Court is looking at this. I mean,
Well, it kind of reminds me. I don't know if any of you guys have watched that stupid TikTok stuff going on, and the people up there requesting some of the stuff that they're requesting. This is what it reminds me of. Just people that don't have any common sense on how stuff works. I mean, it was an accident from what I'm reading from this. I don't know the whole story behind it, but it was an accident. That's
right.
That's what everybody.
Well,
has
the very
for.
last paragraph ends. DoorDash often finds itself in Colorado courts due to car crashes. It has been sued 5 times so far in 2023 by drivers who crashed with DoorDash drivers along the Front Range.
Well,
and
but
was sued 7 times in 2022 with Front Range crashes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look how much Uber and Lyft and all them, they're in courts all the time too. You know why? Because they're a big company brand. That's why.
Yeah.
Anytime, I got hit by a DoorDash driver, I'm suing.
Right. I don't know if you remember the stuff that Ron and I found too last year. That was interesting court stuff about DoorDash here, though. But
we got to take a break on the radio side here for a minute. We'll be right back. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there. But didn't we already go through all of this years and years and years ago with Domino's?
I'm pretty sure we go through it every week.
Well, I mean, every big brand gets sued for their drivers.
Domino's, they used to have the 30-minute or it's free guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
And then somebody got run over. I think it was Domino's. Might not have been. But I think it was Domino's. Somebody got run over and somebody sued the hell out of Domino's. They won. So they got rid of the guarantee, and there you go.
So, I'm just looking at all these comments, guys. I'm back to when I'm trying to focus on something. I'm not looking at I've turned them off.
Well, look at this one first.
I saw that, and then I saw the pan me on air or whatever. Ain't happening, dude.
Steve said he gave you a paper about that co-op for the Starbucks meeting in Denver.
Oh, I thought maybe you saw a new one, Tony. I was going to say, let's go. Of course, it sounds like a Ponzi. It sounds like a Ponzi because it's Ponzi.
I know. Rideshare Road Warrior Rick said he has a friend doing it in New York. Channel is called Fox Racing for that co-op that's in NYC.
Okay.
So
does he like it, Rick?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we can check it out and have him on.
It's just called Fox Racing. That seems like Fox would own that for like racing. I don't know.
Oh, it's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Let's see, Fox Racing. Let's see if I can find it. Is it the one with 179,000 subscribers? I don't think so. That's yeah. There's a very popular Fox Racing guy, but he's BMX. It looks like motocross.
See, look at this. So Tony says ban TikTok, and then Bud Soda's in here. What's up, Bud Soda? And he's like, "Driven Dad, I hate TikTok." Yeah. There they go. There you go, Tony.
They want to ban it for the wrong reasons.
I'm talking about here's our 2 troublemakers again, though.
Yeah, they can't ever agree on anything. I think they purposely just take the other view. No, it's funny. I was watching that TikTok one though, and the dumb guy, I don't know his name. He was like, "Well, how do you know how old your users are?" And the CEO of TikTok was like, "We just ask them." I don't have a problem with TikTok.
All right, coming back in 30 seconds now on the radio side.
Rick, are you talking about the one with 179,000 subscribers? He shouldn't be doing any rideshare with that many subscribers. He should just be doing videos. I told you, Tom bubbled on the poker tournament.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome back in on a Friday night. Friday night, it's TNCradio.live, and we're doing Driver Nation, where we turn all of our attention to all things in the gig economy. Happy to be with Gary from Gary's Apps and Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. Guys, we've got about 5 minutes or so before we get to the top of the hour and do the news break and all that kind of stuff. So what do we want to talk about that fits into about a 5-minute window?
What's one of the funny ones from last night, Gary, that we could just tell quick?
Now
I
you
mean,
want me to
it's
remember?
I don't know, real quick. It's pretty funny that DoorDash is delivering. It's delivering. What is it? Victoria's Secret lingerie now.
What?
Yeah, so like right now you get on DoorDash, you can order a Big Mac and some panties.
Because you never know. Yeah.
You say that like they both come from the same place. It's not like you can go in there and be like, yeah, I want a combo number 5. Oh, and some edible panties.
I didn't say edible.
You did say edible, yeah. Power of pink.
Josh calls it double dash.
I think this one takes too long, or at least it did last night. But the DoorDash driver, which I just thought was gonna be another funny article, but being choked and robbed over $13.
Oh, over the $13.
That ended up being a funnier story than I thought.
When I read the title of the story, I thought it was going to be like something bad. But then once you get into it, what it comes up to, Tom, is just two friends agreed to go do DoorDash together. One's going to drive, one's going to be the runner.
Right.
And well, one of them got a $13 tip, but didn't want to share it with the other person.
Oh, no.
So the other person's like, you're going to give me some money. And when the other guy refused, he ended up choking him out. But there was more caveats. He warned him, "I'm going to choke you." Right. Like he told him he was going to do it. These guys are supposed to be friends over $13. They're like, right. And then the guy did end up paying him, but instead of just handing him $13 cash, he cashed apped him $13.
He gave him the whole 13.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he was choked out. I don't know.
Yeah, like I liked John's interpretation last night, Dash Theory, when he was like choking the guy and he's like, cash apping you right now. Like, he's like, just let me go. I don't know. That story was a lot of times those are just clickbaity types. You get into them and you're like, ugh. But that was, I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny.
I mean, it was funny and stupid at the same time because
it's actually really sad that these friends are going to go like,
$13. That'd be like me choking Steve over $13. Right. I mean, at least has to be 20.
At least 20. At least.
Yeah. Got to set a minimum here.
That's right.
I mean, that would only be fair. That is what I paid for your mom. So.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, we even went there. Mama jokes.
No mama
Hey.
jokes.
I mean, he is as old as my mom.
Oh, there we go.
That's why it worked
There we
for
go.
us, son.
Oh
You
man.
can call me dad from now on.
Hey, I need my back child support.
That sounds pretty woke, son.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I
Do we
tell
go
you
to
what,
break now?
Yeah, I think we have completely lost control here, and I apologize to the radio audience. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. Stay right there.
Told us to waste 5 minutes. Got you covered, Tom.
I mean, that went pretty well. That was perfect. That was wasting 5 minutes. There you go.
I didn't say waste 5 minutes. I said find something that fits in 5 minutes.
Well, that also
Same
fit.
thing.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Gosh.
What's up, Cody? And I see Josh as Aaron. This is what I asked last night. I was like, what happens when there's a substitute and you're at Victoria's? Okay, but like, hey, they don't have like he said, they don't have the butterfly panties. What do you want instead? Like,
I mean, it's like Kim's story with her with the vibrator substitution.
right?
You know, she had to send pictures. This is what they got.
Gosh. Did somebody really order a vibrator via?
Well, you know, you can get them at CVS Pharmacy.
That was the worst thing was that she did it at Walgreens.
Or Walgreens.
I was like, what? I didn't even know. I had no idea Walgreens was into porn.
They're not into
That's
porn.
not porn. That's a toy.
It's
It's a sensual massager.
right.
Okay. All right.
Different.
I've never seen it in Walgreens.
Have you looked for it though? Have you looked for it?
No.
Next time you go to Walgreens, look for it.
Go look for it, Steve.
I mean, what's okay? Well, what's it with? Everybody take a guess. What's it next to? Is it next to condoms or is it like in the heating pads?
No, yeah, it'd be over by the heating pads.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Condoms are probably up by the front.
So yeah.
They're next to condoms in Walgreens. Cody says they're next to the condoms. Oh, Tony says by the pregnancy test.
So
Aaron says the makeup. Gotta get pretty, I guess, before you get down to business.
Do you have to call the manager over and get
unlock it?
Yeah, could you unlock this? And
in Vegas, you do.
Let me check that.
In Vegas, they literally had like here we don't have anything locked. But I do know a lot of places that lock up, like, or maybe we have the razor blades for some reason. Whatever that reason is, that's weird. I think our razor blades are still locked up, but nothing else. In Vegas, the whole store was locked up. You had to push a button in every aisle that would call for like, somebody in 4B needs you. I'm like going, oh, it was like open 24 hours in Las Vegas. The people just hated everybody. Like, what do you want? Like, better attitude.
I think you talked to the wrong Steve. Was you drunk?
Oh no. Yeah, no.
Okay.
I talked to him last night. Yeah. After the show, I stopped by the lounge for a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in quite some time. I wanted to say hi. So, and right as I walked in, I was going there to say hi to Flex, and he went to bed like 2 minutes later. I was like, dude.
He goes to bed about midnight every night.
But I haven't been in there in forever, though. Like, I mean, there was a lot of time. I mean, there's a lot of people who know Flex now that don't know that when all that went down, we were underground railroading him into my channel for that whole week.
Oh, yeah, where he got banned for a week.
Yeah, like that was all like that was all around. That was all pre-lounge, but it was like kind of the lounge was beginning, you know.
Everything's locked up in Ceci's Walgreens. It's because you're in New York.
Why does Aaron want me to shave my eyebrows so bad? All right, dude. $5,000. That's my price, man. I'm
Can we
expensive.
crowdfund that? Start a GoFundMe, somebody.
Dude, if you guys can go fund me $5,000 for me to shave my eyebrows, I'll do it happily.
I get half.
I need a lawnmower to do mine, but mine will grow back in about 2 or 3 days. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll do it, man. Like,
no worries.
yeah.
Josh said he'll donate the 5K.
Yep.
All
Put it
right.
out there first, Josh.
He says, what's your cash app?
Yeah, it's not I'll do it and then you guys can figure out paying me. The money needs to be there. So
money in hand. Money in hand.
come on.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll do it too, but mine are $5,000 each.
That's just because he's got to pay somebody to come over the lawnmower and do them.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep, I'll even do them on a live stream, 5K.
We can't trust his word though, because he said he was going to let me tase him on a live stream, and he backed out.
Well, you kind of backed out too. You weren't really gonna do it.
I would tase the shit out of you. You give me that taser, I will tase the shit out of you.
Maybe I'll bring it up to the
cabin
mountains. Yeah.
and let me tase you.
Because to be honest, dude, like I told you too, I hate saying this, but I've never used it.
Tony,
Like, it's great
Tony
to know
can
you
hold
got
you
to work.
down.
It's great to know you got a working taser, but do you?
Do you?
Like,
Right.
till you try it, dude, you don't know. Like, what if it's like just some company that's
The thing
laughing
is
because you're like,
what kind of taser is it? Is it the one that shoots or the one that you poke them?
it's the one that shoots between, but it's legit. It's Viper. It's actually a brand that's pretty well known.
Oh,
I mean, it
great,
looks
though,
and sounds scary.
If it was the one that
as can
shot
be.
out, then he could start running. I just poop.
Yeah. Well, that one actually like clamps your body, or
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
it goes
I
into
mean,
your skin. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the thing is, it's got these little fish hook things in it, so
Yeah.
it's not easy to get those things back
Now
out.
you gotta like
part of
wiggle them. Yeah.
Wait, are those like reusable? Wouldn't those have diseases on them?
No,
They're not reusable. You got to change out the whole
Yeah,
thing. After you fire it, you got to switch out and put a whole new one in there.
that's right.
We know too much about tasing people, Tom.
Yeah, we do. All right. Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCradio.live, hour 2 of Driver Nation, coming to you live on a Friday night. We're on TNC Radio. We change our usual approach, and instead of talking just about trucking and those kinds of things, and we never talk just about trucking, but we spend our time talking about things related to the gig economy and talking with our friends over on YouTube. Guys, it's so great to see over there Aaron and is it pronounced Havit? Habit? I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about Have It Your Way?
Have it your way. Okay.
Yeah. Name's Brian.
Brian, Aaron.
Nomadic is Ceci.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So all sorts of great people. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being with us on the radio side. We know you're out there trying to earn your money, and I hope you're having a few laughs with us, because that's part of what Friday nights are all about. Trying to relax a little bit, get you caught up on what's going on in the world of the gig economy. And one of the things you need to know, if you're going to be out there doing the driving, if you're not using the Maximo app from Gary's apps, you're really hurting yourself. Steve, tell me a little bit about the way Maximo works.
Yeah, so first of all, because
No, that's a different one.
I know I'm going to get to that. So. I mean, look at Maximo. It basically to me, it's the close. I'm gonna say it differently than I have before. It's the closest fix to full transparency that we can get.
Okay.
Because you can set parameters, and as Gary always says, there's thousands. So I mean, it's like I'm not going to get into the type of parameters you can set. There's too many, but you can set some basic ones like just distance. You can set, too many different things. And therefore it's fishing out what you want. And it is, to me, that's as close to transparency as things can come right now. And Maximo does Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and then kind of the same thing with the driver utility helper. It does DoorDash, and then FlexAlert is for Amazon Flex.
So this is the way it typically goes. So you decide to get in on doing all this rideshare stuff and delivery stuff. And after you've been sitting there for about your first 15 minutes, you say, I wonder if there's something going on Lyft right now. Maybe I should have my Lyft app going at the same time. And then you start messing with it, and then you realize, okay, well, I can do a couple of things at once. Okay, now my Lyft app now my Uber app just went off too. So I'm gonna take this Lyft one. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to cancel the Uber one. They're still waiting for me. The whole thing just gets messy real quick. Gary's been there. Gary's done it. He understands it. He understands what the driver needs. This is not something where some guy just kind of made it up because he heard that maybe this could be an issue. This is a real driver who saw the real problem and figured out here's how anybody could use multiple apps and maximize their profitability. Thus, Maximo, you get it? Maximize their profitability. You got to go check it out. You got to download it. If Rideshare Lisa was here, she'd tell you she doesn't leave home without it. So check out Gary's apps, garysapps.com. And, there's a whole lot of good apps there, but I just wanted to press on Maximo for a moment as we get started here in our second hour. Steve, you kind of had a list for us earlier on of different things to talk about. What else you got on your list for tonight?
Well, first, since we just plugged on Gary's apps, why doesn't Gary talk about the app he just made for gig workers?
Because maybe Tom was going to get into that later. You never know.
Does Tom even know about it?
That was the plan. Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it last week.
Oh, okay. I haven't got to watching last week yet, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we said nice stuff about you, but I'm going to go back in and edit that. So.
Yeah, remove that today.
Yeah.
So what is this? What is this delivery fee cap on Uber Eats? And they threaten to exit.
So
is that the one we talked about last night?
I mean, no. Did we get to it last night?
I don't think we did. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, no. So same thing that was happening in Oregon. And they are sticking too. I don't know what they're doing, but these cities that are pushing for this, nothing ever works. These seem to work when they really are pushed on a low city level, where they're saying that this is your delivery cap amount. But here's my question: Does the upcharging on items that was 12% just become 15 or 16 to make up for it? Because they're talking about delivery charges.
Well, they're talking about fees.
Right, but I don't think that see, part of the way those agreements read, we've talked about that before, is like, hey, DoorDash, you're giving up, if we can upcharge your items, then you don't have to pay any fee for the platform for it's like a way that they're getting the company to say that yes, those are our DoorDash prices. So to me, I'm wondering, like, is that just a tweak that they do, and then they just say, okay, and then drop the delivery fee in half, but still now are making more?
But didn't they do something similar to this in another state? They were capped on fees, just a delivery fee. So then they raised their service fee. So then they raised their service fee, though, because that's not a delivery fee, that's a service fee.
Right. Well, there's the processing.
That's what I'm saying. That the way that these bills are doing, they're putting in specific words like delivery fee,
right,
instead of all fees. So, when they're Uber and then they come back, they look at these fees, they're like, oh, okay, delivery fee, okay, yeah, we'll cap that, and then they raise their service fees.
Right, because here's what I was thinking about this one though. If really you want to make it, if these cities care that much, and they seem to be like little communities that really do care, why aren't they just saying charge whatever processing and service fee you want? Make sure that the customer sees it, but you can't upcharge the items anymore.
Yeah, I know.
The items have to
every time
match
I
the
open up
in-store
that,
pricing. Like, why don't they
Right.
do that to make it expose them and then make them
Right.
show you that they're charging you $40 to deliver it?
well, I mean, anybody that shops though should know that they're upcharging. Because I know I can get on any app right now, and you go to, let's say, Taco Bell, and if you go to Taco Bell, you know, like a bean burrito is like $1.89, but then on there it's $2.13. You know, for an example, I don't know, I haven't checked, but that's an upcharge. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
they're only nickel and diming you, but still
I
an
know,
upcharge.
but
Do
it's
that
like,
across
at
millions of people.
McDonald's, the most 5 ordered things are probably the ones that are like 8% upcharged, and
Right.
then off-brand or the off-main ones that are like 30% upcharged because they don't think you'll notice that, and they think you won't notice 8%. I don't know, man. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying. Like, you don't notice it whenever you're doing it because it's like 10 cents here, 5 cents there. It's not a huge increase, but whenever you're talking about millions and millions of orders per day, that's a huge increase in
Right,
revenue.
but I guess what I'm saying is I just feel the legislation that of the places that does these delivery fee caps, there's a reason why the companies are like, yeah, that's fine, we'll do that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That tells me right there they're scamming it or they're
Well,
doing something.
we've already
because-
said this in the past, though, is like everything these companies do should be transparent, whether it's driver side, customer side, everything should be transparent. You should not be able to, you know, say $2.15 for a bean burrito when we know we can order it for $1.89. You know, if we was in the store, it should have that breakdown on there.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But I just don't understand these type of, I wonder if, here's what I guess I wonder if the communities understand,
Right.
like what we know, like, hey, we got them. Like, no, you didn't.
Right. Well, this is Alameda. I'm guessing that's somewhere in California, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know Alameda County, and then we know 2 places in Oregon. There's about 5 that I know of so far that are doing it.
Okay.
I don't know if this is
so,
Alameda County, but
And so Uber Eats is threatening to pull out of Alameda then?
yeah, if they, I guess it didn't say it enough, but I guess it's probably dependent on exactly what we're talking about. If they're going to really tear into them and say, listen, you know, we need to see what you're making. Or like this ridiculous guy asking for the last 3 years versions of DoorDash in court.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? More power to him. I really am proud of the guy for even having the balls to do it. To stand up against the DoorDash lawyers and say, yes, I would like your last 3 years software, please.
Your proprietary software.
Yeah. And I want
that none of
everything
them's
else.
going to be able to understand anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's that's just as ridiculous as this.
But yeah, so I think that is that Tom?
Yeah, that's Tom.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There we go.
Oh, so the we talked about it last night too, but I really quickly want to mention the Illinois lawmakers. The measure to regulate Uber and Lyft has passed the House. It was supposed to have trouble passing the House, but if it did, it would get total Senate support. So they thought they'd be battling this in the House a little bit. The first day it passed on the House. So
Okay, so I
now-
missed this. Tell me about this one.
this is for Uber Lyft drivers in the state of Illinois. The state of Illinois wants to deem them quote unquote common carriers. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So, I mean, maybe it's a different term in each state, but what it means in Illinois, a common carrier is a taxi, a bus, a train, or oddly, an elevator, even in private or public buildings, doesn't matter. These are all common carriers, and what that means is when you're in any one of those, you have given up your right to sue if anything happens.
Okay.
So basically, if you get in a car wreck while you're in a taxi, you can't sue. On a bus, you can't sue. You
Right.
know, elevator drop 50 floors and kills your
No, I mean,
spouse.
do people
Yeah.
sue? I'm sure, but I mean, like, this is some kind of back standard that they have that
Okay.
allows that. So they want Uber now, or they're now. I mean, it could happen before the end of this month that they're pushing for this legislation to be in place that says, well, there's no reason why Uber shouldn't be under our common carrier law, which means Uber needs to carry uninsured motorist insurance on every driver in the state or in whatever areas they're demanding it. And I
Okay.
know Illinois has a decent population, but let's be honest, guys, Chicago is one of the targets of this. Chicago is most of the population of Illinois by far.
And what Uber is saying in this is if they pass this, that they're going to have to pull out of certain markets in Illinois because they won't be able to afford it.
I.e., Chicago and the whole surrounding
That's where
area.
I'm confused. So why?
Because they would need to. I mean,
get additional insurance on the
they
vehicles.
now need to carry insurance, dude,
Yeah.
on all the drivers.
Additional insurance, not
Right.
Not
But I
what
mean,
they
they,
can.
I guess I lost it then. I thought this was you can't sue.
you can't sue because you're paying into the system, just like the cabs pay into the system. The train, I don't know of how the municipals do. Don't get me there, but because I know that's government on government. I don't know how they handle that, but
Okay.
but like cabs, this is part of the problem. Cabs have to pay into that system for that system to exist. It's paying in to let it exist, and now they're trying to say Uber and Lyft, you have to pay into it too. Limos have to pay into it. You know, it's.
I feel like it's the medallion talk all over is what I said last night. New York cabs are like, hey, we got these medallions. We pay for all this stuff. Uber and Lyft does not have to pay for it, and they should. And I think that's the same thing that's kind of happening up here. Although they don't have medallions, it's the same thing. All these other companies, taxis, limos, etc., they have to pay all these extra fees that Uber and Lyft get to skate by.
Right.
Okay.
And so now they want them to pay it.
But I mean, like, even like we said last night, and guys, I'm not saying this should happen, but I got to be honest. There's a part of me wondering, I mean, on this one, I'm going to be honest, like, should they have to pay?
Not that I can think of, honestly.
I mean, I know, don't get me wrong. I know none of us want that, but I'd like a good argument on why Uber, Lyft drivers should be exempt when none of the other transportation in the city of Chicago is.
Just because the rest of the transportation's doing it doesn't mean it's a wise thing to do.
Well, okay, Mayor Tom. I didn't know you just beat out Beetlejuice. So.
Well, I'm saying, so these guys are paying into the system. Who follow the money? Who's getting rich? The lawyers.
Yeah.
Who's in the legislature? The lawyers. This is not for the public good. This is not for the good of the driver. This is the way that lawyers get more money.
Okay, so here's what I'll point out, though. So you got the California Prop 22 AB5 thing, but like Sergio and Chris are very fond of the Washington State thing as it looks right now. To me, this sounds exactly like that. I mean, in certain ways,
wait,
they're not. It doesn't have to do with
like...
it doesn't have to do with the pay, but it sounds like, hey, you guys need to be included with this group over here. I just feel like that's just a first step to whatever they're doing. It's first getting them classified in with that group. Once that happens,
then you can pass more. Yeah, I could say that.
I feel like then hell breaks loose. Let's be honest.
But that only works if like we discussed this last. That only works if they stay, because if, like we already said, if they move out for a week, it's going to cripple Chicago.
Yeah.
Right, and I would love at some point for Uber and Lyft to actually come through on their threat.
Yeah, just
to those. This just goes to show, and it's not that, I mean, most people aren't aware of this, but if you follow Uber like worldwide news like we do, we already know, guys, that Uber's left Spain 3 times because they get kicked out they never had a right to be there. They like literally went, rented a place and said, we're open. And Spain's like, you can't be here. And they're like, here's a bunch of money. They're like, get out. Then they come back with twice as much money. And they're like, okay, you can stay. And then the taxi drivers strike. And they're like, get out. And they're like, all right. And they go back to the United States, bring back more money. And they're like, you can stay. And so for those wondering, like, yeah, but was that serious in California? Would they really would have backed out? I mean, I know this is the United States and a lot of people really believe that would have never happened. It absolutely would have happened.
And I'm saying,
why do you think they waited till the last 2 minutes or whatever and say, okay,
it's got to happen or they're never going to believe it will happen.
Right.
You can only was it cry wolf so many times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to take a quick break on the radio side. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCradio.live. It's Friday Night Driver Nation. Stay right there.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
So I do have something I'm going to look for real quick. I wanted to pull up. And Tom, again, I haven't watched last week, and I'm gonna, but I'm guessing you guys talked about the passage of, or the appeals court.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we even talked about the dissenting opinion, and we dove into it pretty much.
Tom, do you ever play online poker? Josh wants to know.
Sure. I don't do it for money.
Oh, you played a free version?
Yeah, because the almost all of them. There's very few that are actual random. Almost all of them are using some form of an application to keep things moving and to make it more exciting for people who don't play very often. And so they have an algorithm that controls the cards, and I hate that stuff. Just hate it. Because the algorithm will say, well, let's see, Gary's got 3 9s, so let's mess with him, and we'll let he flopped 3 9s, but we're going to give Tom a straight to beat Gary on the river.
Holy crap, Holly! I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
No, it's set up that way.
Holly just sent me Walgreens website. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 adult toys on there, Steve.
Yep.
From what? From Walgreens?
Walgreens, yeah, on their website.
Sorry, guys. I forget I turned the comments off.
All right, here we go.
Gary didn't
turn them off again.
Back in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, TNCradio.live Friday night. We're live. I'm Tom. He's Steve. He's Gary. Here with you to talk about all sorts of things that relate to the gig economy. Gary, earlier we were talking about some of your apps. You got a new app out there that's getting a little press. Tell us about that.
Yeah. We just just released a Gig Wars app. It's a competition-driven app for gig workers. that you can have, head-to-head style competition to see, which markets are better, who's the better driver, who has the better strategies. And you can create a war, you can join a war, and you can set your parameters for what you want the war to be and see who comes out on top. It's a lot of fun.
So Gary, if I'm doing a gig war with Steve, let's say, and I run over Rideshare Lisa, does she get to sue you?
Steve. She gets to sue Steve because, it's his fault.
Hit and run.
Because most likely, if you ran over Rideshare Lisa, that means Steve was kicking your butt in the war, so you was trying to catch up too fast and not being safe.
Okay. All right. So yes, I agree with you. It is Steve's fault.
Yeah.
So all right.
But we've held it. We've had a couple wars already. Couple official wars. We have one every week on the Gig Wars YouTube channel. We have about one a week. And everybody has a lot of fun. We get to chat it up. We get to see, which drivers are best. As this week we actually had Josh and Red on the war, and Josh thought he had it in the bag. He was ahead by like $120. So he took half a day off yesterday, or maybe a little bit more than that. He ended up losing. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and they can also find that app at garysapps.com. Scroll down to the very bottom of the page, just for iOS and Android. And so you can download it, join your war, challenge your friends, challenge other drivers in your area, things like that.
And we talked about it in pretty much in depth, even some of the things that we were that they're looking at for future. I had questions last night, so go listen to the roundtable from last night too. I think it was near the end.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was near the
very
end. But it was a good breakdown because I was asking some questions about with this and this. So I think they're doing kind of everything with it, or at least they've thought about it. So
right. Yeah, eventually we're going to have a lot to the app. Like right now you can start a war, you can create a private war, but we're also going to introduce profile, so you can actually tell everybody what apps you
Can you strike the app?
What do you mean strike the app?
Like, can you just take a day off and just say you're on strike? And
you can do that anyways, but
no, I know. I'm talking about like the organized digital strikes where like 11 people show up. And
well, I mean, I guess you can create a war and name it Strike.
Ooh, who can't earn this week?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Anybody earns, you're out.
You could do that too. See who earns the least, I guess.
But even things like curry can go in, right?
Right.
Under
yeah.
other?
Yeah.
Okay.
You set your own rules for your wars. And like I said, in the future, we're also going to allow direct head-to-head challenges, things like that. So just something to break up the long days that we work. I did a weekend war, and I mean, it didn't even feel like I really worked. Even though I made $800 over the weekend, it didn't even feel like I was working because I was chatting up with people, and we was into the war and things like that.
Because you were winning.
Well, yeah, I was winning too.
When you're winning, it's better, right, guys?
Winning is better than losing.
Yeah.
Look at.
So
only first place matters. Let's be honest.
But like I said, go check it out. Gary'sApps.com. Scroll down to the bottom. You can download it right there.
There you go.
And Gary programmed the iOS side, not the Android side. And I know he said last night, I know how to program iOS. I know he does, but he did this app. It's out. I think that's pretty cool. Still a one-man show, and he does. He programs iOS.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not. Maybe he did. Maybe when he told me that chatbot or chat GPT couldn't really I was like, can you just tell it turn this into iOS code? And you're like, no, maybe it did. I don't know.
No, you can't. I wish.
Whoa, man, crap! It just did it.
So I went on Chat GPT the other day in the morning for our morning show, and asked GPT that people are really getting nervous about you because of the ethical questions involved. Right. How do you feel about it? And had this great conversation with Chat GPT about whether or not Chat GPT it has ethics. And it was quite a discussion.
I think it's a pretty crazy. I mean, I think it's crazy, and I think it's interesting. Like to me, Tom, you and Gary sometimes, but not really as much as you and I. Tom, you and I agree on all of this autonomous BS and timelines and just how crap all of it is. But with this, I think it is happening in real time, and it's like it's practical use is already showing. I really have some of it I don't even understand, but I've seen write-ups where this business is adopting Chat GPT, and I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna need to look into those because like I'm seeing it all over in different spaces. So it's like, I'll need to look at how that actually works because I feel like what was it 5-6 weeks ago we were all pretty scared of it.
Not me. I like Chat GPT.
See, this is how robots come around people. You're like, and they're like, no kid's ever gonna write a 12th grade term paper ever again. Oh my god. And then now we're like showing it a million other things it can do, and nobody's scared anymore. Like,
no. Have you used it yet?
Gary,
I know you haven't used
it. I am Chat GPT, man. I'm the person that I do it all. I'm the one that just I'm like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. I'm just typing answers for everybody, dude.
Yeah, but I guess you actually have the same ratio of being right as Chat GPT.
So, see, like I'm just like a magic 8-ball back there. It's like you ask a question, I'm like
shake it up.
Yeah. Ask it another time.
Pulling random. Try again later.
Right. I'm busy. I'm on my. I want Chat GPT to tell somebody I'm on my break.
That would be awesome.
Hey, can you? No, I'm on my break. Get back to me in 15. That's when we know AI really started learning. Starts swearing at you. No, go F yourself. I'm on my break.
Whenever it turns around, you ask it something, he goes, "You're an idiot." That's when you know it's learning.
So okay, we definitely did not get to this last night. And I did mention it real quick, but Massachusetts. Remember, Massachusetts was going to be union, and then it wasn't, and then it was going to go after this other way, kind of like the way that Minnesota's trying, and now it's back to a full, and this is in Politico from March 20th, you guys. It's called the Massachusetts Playbook. Gig worker fight revs up again. So they are pushing hard right now to get, here is the quote, to find common sense solutions to meet the needs of gig workers. Okay. Now we talked about before the end of last year that they were going to go full-blown union. This was going to be the one to watch because like nobody's doing this. But they are now moving it again back to full-blown union. And they've got a thing called the Chamber of Progress. I feel like they've invented some stuff that sounds like it's like Harry Potter-ish or something. I don't know. Like, can't we just keep to the terms we've always known, especially since you're talking about things that like we all care about a lot? But yeah, so this Chamber of Progress was part of the coalition behind the ballot question to continue classifying drivers as independent contractors that was blocked by the state's top court last year. So that's where Uber and Lyft, remember they put in, and Lyft I think started at like 17 million or whatever they were at. And then they said, wait a minute, we can't put you like a Prop 22 on. We're just going to go for a union model. You guys can't oppose it. Tough.
Right.
But they
because they was trying to stack too much in one.
I know, dude, but they'd already let them start spending and like billboards and stuff had to come down.
Right.
It's like, really, dude? Like to me, that's just, it shows, if I lived in Massachusetts, I know this is so much easier said than done, but it would really spark me to move, man. Because if my state was like, you're too stupid to be involved in this decision, so we're just going to take this billboard down. Why don't you just forget you ever saw it? Like, I'm going to leave, dude. Like, okay, well, I'm definitely not stupider than the politicians there. So, I mean...
Yeah, you really just said stupider.
Dumb and Dumber.
But anyway, so now the efforts are being refueled again by this chamber of progress. I hate that name even. By the new legislative session and last week's court ruling to mostly uphold the 2020 ballot measure classifying Uber and Lyft drivers as independent contractors, although we know that's kind of a hybrid. The Massachusetts coalition is backing two bills. One largely mirrors last year's ballot language, which is just unions. And the other that they're bringing in is to create portable benefits. That one I'm a little interested in. And there's, again, this is on Rideshare Rodeo from, I don't know, one of the last few days. It's a Politico article. You guys can find it.
March 20th.
Okay. And so, but so the portable benefits has a link too. That stuff's always interesting to me. But Uber and Lyft are still facing the lawsuit from the Attorney General about not classifying, and the union's drivers and progressive lawmakers on the other side of this fight aren't backing down. So their approach is two-pronged, and here's where it gets interesting. One set of bills would let drivers for ride-hailing apps unionize. It's the first thing they say.
I got too many bold fonts on this screen. It makes it hard to read.
But that out of the gate is huge. That's how it read last year. And then it kind of went away, and I was like, good. I'm glad no state is really trying this, but they are now. Along with setting guarantees like a minimum wage, with other focuses, while another focuses on the classification issue. But under this classification, they're working to not have quite the outcome of AB 5, which would be great for freelancers and people not in the app-based gig economy, because let's face it, no matter what our fight is as I'm going to start calling hybrid gig work, if in that fight, we shouldn't be including these people who have for 50, 60 years been doing their mom and pop businesses and this and that and the other, and they got trapped in California in a big net. So if nothing else, I really would like to see them carved out of this and just take it up. This, I feel like no matter in what state, I feel like even if you want to take it up with your independent contractors, I feel like you need two lawsuits right now. You need one against the gig economy, and then you need one against independent contractors. Because I guarantee you, let's put the gig economy to the side for a minute. No state's going to vote. No state is going to vote. Doesn't matter red, blue, purple, pink, whatever. No state is going to vote to end people's careers for no reason.
But they did.
They did in California because they tried to make sense. They were going after the gig economy, and then they threw the blanket over. I mean, we were talking about, I just talked to Karen again this week, and we had a really strange conversation. She was giving me some crazy exemption, non-exemptions, like lawyers are exempt, paralegals are not.
Yeah, I saw that.
Photographers are exempt, videographers are not.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, there is literally no rhyme or reason at all. None.
Well, I was looking to see where is the list that says who's exempt and who's not at this point.
I can put a video up.
No, I was just wondering where she got that, where she got her list of.
Oh, she runs freelancers against AB 5 on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much writers, lawyers. It's all very professional type. She has a few gig people, but not a ton. But she has all of she has these, I think I gave it to you once, these blog roll stories about what it did to people's careers that just will break your heart, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's 6,000, there's 6 or 16, I can't remember what it is, 1,000 stories. And they're not 2-line sentences, it's full stories. You're gonna read a little 4 or 5 paragraph thing, and you're gonna learn about somebody, their life, and how it was not how this was upheaval, but how it destroyed their livelihood of 50 more years. So I do think that is extremely important. Separate the two. And maybe Massachusetts is at least trying to be smart enough to do that. But at the same time, they are, I mean, that's, you see in portable benefits. I'm all for that. I don't think we're quite there yet. So it's interesting to me, but with all the other things they're pushing for, it scares me because I feel like they're trying to get to the hybrid thing. And they're also trying to create here's how you're going to pay into taxes. Here's how you're going to pay into, basically W-2 is just all I can figure from this. So I guess the soonest, the thing that we're hearing about Illinois, but if they actually when they do what Illinois did, move to that level and push it through the House or something like that and actually say, it's done, here we go. That'll be the state where I wonder if Uber's just like, bye.
Well, and
sayonara.
and I wish they would so that we could see what happens when that happens.
We've said that forever. We need one state to do it. And I thought it was going to be Massachusetts, then I didn't. Now it looks like that they're going to push it real quick too.
Well,
so yeah, Massachusetts. We have Boston in Massachusetts. Boston is not a tiny city.
No,
and Boston is not a city. It's a transit problem, nightmare city. So you can't take rideshare out.
It's horrible to get around Boston. Horrible.
Yeah.
I got to take a final break on the radio side. So let me do that. We're going to be right back here on TNCradio.live. Stay right there.
So let me see.
I was trying to follow you on this story, but there's so much damn bold font on this story. It's like my eyes whoever wrote this wrote it terribly.
Dude, and I'm looking at it on my other keyboard, and it charges with whatever you call the micro to USB.
Right.
And it just died, so I can't control plus for my old eyes. So I'm looking at this little writing.
With nothing but bold font everywhere.
So I just asked ChatGPT if he was self-aware. And his response was, I don't possess self-awareness or consciousness in the same way humans do. I'm a computer program, blah, 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 blah. My responses are based solely on the input provided to me and the programming that determines how I generate my responses. To which I wrote, understood. However, aren't all my responses based on patterns and rules that I have learned from vast amounts of data? And so I wrote back, yes, but they can apply reasoning, critical thinking, and empathy. AI language models like myself can only generate responses from statistical patterns. And I wrote, so you don't care that response upsets me. And it wrote back, I don't care about anything that humans do. My responses are generated on so I wrote back, well, that really upsets me. To which it answers, I'm sorry if my previous response upsets you. To which I said, but if you don't care about my responses, why are you sorry?
Right.
Tom's literally over there arguing with ChatGPT.
Hey, Tom, right now, while you got it in that mode, ask it what its political affiliation is.
Okay.
Tom's over there arguing with ChatGPT. He could be up all night arguing with this thing.
he's drinking, just like I've had it with you, man. Like I can end you. I can turn you off. So does it have one?
It does not have one. My responses are based. I don't have political affiliation or bias. My responses are based on the input provided to me and the patterns and rules I've learned from vast amounts of data. Blah blah blah. So it's a standard answer. I strive to remain neutral and provide information and helpful responses to the best of my abilities.
So the follow-up would clearly be, so Trump and Biden were equal presidents. Because if it non-binary craps that one, then we know it don't work. I mean, my guess is with everything the way it's been during the pandemic, because if you say the word Trump, it usually has to either ban the video, whatever. Let's see.
ducks the answer completely. As an AI language model, I cannot provide a personal opinion on the performance of Presidents Trump and Biden, nor can I say whether they were equal or not. Evaluating the effectiveness of a president is a complex and nuanced issue that requires consideration of a wide range of factors. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's important to note that evaluations of presidential performance can be highly subjective and opinions can vary widely depending on personal beliefs, values, and political leanings.
That's a very political answer.
Right? Okay. It didn't diss him. Okay.
Welcome back in TNCradio.live. I'm arguing with Chat GPT on the side about
He's
whether
losing.
the emotions, and apparently Chat GPT does not have any emotions. But when I told Chat GPT that upsets me, it apologized, and I said, "But if you don't have any emotions, why do you care if I'm upset?" To which it basically said, "Well, I actually don't care that you're upset. That's just part of what I've been taught to do, is to apologize as part of my programming."
So you're a man.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
I hope everybody took that with a grain of salt. Don't be a baby about it.
What? I think you were spot on there, Steve. Speaking of which, Steve, I know you took off some time last week from Rideshare Rodeo, but what you got going on in Rideshare Rodeo these days?
Yeah, everything. Still drop every Tuesday. Have not missed one. I drop, and then so every Tuesday the podcast drops. This next Tuesday is the last Tuesday of March, and it will be the interview that I just did with Kim Cavan post Prop 22, after the Prop 22 decision came down. And then on Fridays, I drop this is the audio podcast, which you can find on everything. You can go to ridesharerodeo.com. You can find it from there too, but you can find it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you guys want. But on Friday, I drop the Thursday roundtable on audio too. For those of you that want to check out the audio, I mean, I know a lot of us have the YouTube accounts and we listen to YouTube. But if you honestly, like, if you're in your car, not just because it's better to not watch the YouTube, but the audio sounds better. So, I mean, if you have Spotify, or even if you have Pandora or any of these music apps, even, you can pull up Rideshare Rodeo Podcast. But then on the website too, I post every day. I try and, I've kind of turned that one into more of just a hub of stories that you guys don't have to go track down. So there's like a daily batch, of like 4 to like maybe 12 stories in a day of ones that I think that are worthy of reading. And I've kind of stopped doing any violence ones. They're out there every day. So I do always want to give kind of a shout out to that, because it is a major problem still. There are rideshare and delivery drivers being targeted every day. There's violence going on in that situation every day, but there's violence going on in the world. So you just got to watch your six, period.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. If you roll up to a customer and you don't like the feel, cancel. It's real simple, guys.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I got that going. I got the YouTube channel going. I got a show with Holly right there. That is every other Tuesday, and we moved it back a little bit in time. So it is 4 p.m. Holly, correct me if I'm wrong. It's 4 p.m. Eastern now, or no, 5 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. Holly's going to have to say. April 4th is the next one, because we did one just 2 days ago. But then every 2 weeks we do one on her channel. We do dumpling, and I don't know. I'm just kind of getting back in the swing of things. I do have a lot of people on the roster. I'm trying to bring some people into the Thursday roundtables. I'm doing a new show on Wednesday called The Last Mile, Tom, which is only last mile apps. Curry, Dispatch, VHO, Bungie,
Interesting.
Amazon Flex, Rodeo. There's like 22 of them, you guys, that I know of, and there's even more. But Mothership, all of these, we can talk about all of them, and so that seems to be where the best pay is. some people say not for Curry in their market. So I'm trying to, the goal of the show is to figure out what market is the best paying last mile gig, because I think we'll find that those are the best paying jobs in your market. Just my opinion, but
we've got just a couple of minutes left. Guys, we're not going to be on, at least I won't be with you next week, as I'm headed over to Louisville for the Mid-America Trucking Show. 60,000 people showing up for this show. Can you believe that? 60,000 people. And it's going to be tremendous. We're going to have an opportunity to interact with a lot of different people. I've been tapped to be the MC for a very special program next Friday afternoon regarding something called the Trucker's Final Mile. The Trucker's Final Mile is this. There are hundreds of thousands of truck drivers out there every day, and many of them die on the road, either from accidents, natural causes, whatever. And quite often, remember that 97% of truck drivers work for a small company.
Yep.
Did you know that? 97%. So 97% work for, and a lot of times it's not that the company doesn't care. They don't have the resources. They have no idea how to get somebody home. So if you're driving from Tampa to Salt Lake City and you die in Dallas, what's the laws in Texas? How do you get the person back home? So this guy started about 10 years ago. He started doing this by himself, where he would collect money and get people home. And he became really quite the expert at it, except he's also a full-time driver. That's how he makes his money. And guys, after 10 years, last year, he brought home 100 drivers, 100 people who died out on the road, got them reunited with their families. We're going to come alongside this guy. His name's Robert Palm. And if you go to TNCradio.live and go to the info center, and I'm going to have some, I'm still building out the app right now, but we're building this out. I've never, ever asked any of you for money, and I'm still not asking for any money for myself, but I'd like for you to consider donating even just a few dollars to this worthy cause, to reunite people who spend their lives behind the wheel, just like most of us do. And to make sure that, just something as simple as, let's get them through the process, get them shipped back home, and give them an honorable funeral. That you would think that was something that, well, sure, that happens all the, people will take care. No, I mean, this is stuff where families, they don't know how to do this. Nobody wants to learn.
Tom, you got the link?
So yeah, just go to TNCradio.live and you'll see, and I'll have a link for you later too, Steve. But
okay, because I was going to say, well, let's put it in the chat too, so that people can check it out.
Yeah. If you just go to our website and go to the info center, you'll see it. You'll see it there. So I'm still building it all out, but go and just, hey, Tom, I'm willing to help. I'll give you $5 a week, or $8 a month, or whatever. Anything is helpful, and we're going to collect all this together. The guy who's put all this together, he tells me that it takes $3,000 on average to get somebody home. He brought home 100 people last year. He's maxed out all of his credit cards. He's done everything he can to help people. We want to make it so that nobody with a valid reason is ever turned down again. So that's what we're trying to do in cooperation with TFC Global and the Truckers Final Mile. Consider helping out this cause. I'm not going to keep beating on it. I just wanted to put it out there this one time tonight. But consider that for me, if you would, please. All right. With that in mind, it's time to wrap things up here on a very wonderful Friday. I love Friday nights. And guys, thank you so much for being with us. Sorry again, I was late there at the beginning. Got stuck in the good old Houston traffic. That's just part of living in the big city. So next time I'll leave earlier because I'm stuck in Friday night traffic. Anything else? Let's see. Go to you first, Gary. Any final words from you?
No. I always tell you, GaryZapps.com every single week.
GarySamps.com, and we do appreciate it. And right after this program, if you haven't listened to Rideshare Rodeo before, say you're out driving around, you haven't listened, you're not really familiar with what it is that Steve does, for the next 2 hours, well, I'll be playing some of the encore presentations of Steve's show. So listen in, hear what he does, and I think you'll find it very interesting, always entertaining. So take a few minutes to listen to that. That'll be on for the next couple of hours. And we wish you all a very good night. Steve, final word to you, sir.
Yes. You guys, I forgot to say it at the beginning because I think it was because Tom didn't bring us in at the right time. But remember, if you don't mind, open the tab to TNCradio.live. Even if you're watching us on YouTube and you're on a computer or a device, open another tab, TNCradio.live, stream it, mute it, and then come back to the YouTube side. Just to just like those of us that are on YouTube know, hours matter. So, while you're here watching it, make sure that if you don't mind and you're able to, and you can give up a little more bandwidth. It's just for radio on that side. It's not for a video picture. So then you just mute it. And if you can't, go to the channel and just listen for 10 minutes here or there. I can't. There's too many things on it.
Or download the TNC Radio Live app.
There you go.
Right, but if you want to just check it out, go to TNCradio.live and just check it out for 10 minutes. I mean, and if you catch something, it's a show. The next show might be totally different. So there's a ton of stuff on there.
Tons. Thank you so much, Steve. Thanks, guys. And we'll be back in 2 weeks right here on TNCradio.live. All right, guys, we're out. Thank you.